I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Friday, March 22nd. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week I watch all of our NBA, MLB, and NFL videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website yet at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel, and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure you come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, bro?
Yo, what up, man?
Hey, not much, man. Hey, another night, did a lot better tonight than I did last night, so I got to be thankful for that. Yeah, definitely, solid night overall. Cash and cash game. So, hey, can't complain. A couple lines, had a couple good lines that ran up there in my max centers, but hey, made some money, and that's all that matters. So yeah, you ready to talk some basketball?
Let's get into it.
All right, man. Real quick, before we do, if you guys don't mind, please take a quick second, click the like button down below. Also, hey, man, baseball right around the corner. Take advantage of our MLB pre-order special, man. Use promo code MLB50 at checkout, and you get MLB $150 all season. Includes our optimizer, all of our content, our cash lineups. Hey, it's a great deal. Plus, you get the rest of the NBA. So, hey, go to the website, dfscheatsheet.com, promo code MLB50, and join the money team, man. So, hey, let's jump into it.
One thing I'm just going to make sure that we throw out there, too. Listen, that access is we're giving you access for the entire season to the entire site. So it's an MLB special because it's MLB season. But we're about to add PGA, NASCAR, and NHL to the optimizer. I know NHL season's winding down, but you get full access to the optimizer with that membership, and that's NFL when it pops, MLB, NBA still for the rest of the season. And like I said, NHL, PGA, and NASCAR are going to the optimizer very, very soon. So you get more than just MLB with that subscription. It's just our MLB season luxury box package.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, great deal for sure. So, hey, man, let's jump into it. The first game we're going to go with, it's going to be the Memphis Grizzlies going into Orlando to face the Magic. This game has a 208.5 over-under, and Orlando's favored by 7 in this one.
Mike Conley doubtful. So, I mean, we know what happens with him being doubtful. You can take a look at Delon Wright already in the starting lineup. We know he gets a huge usage bump, as is by being in the starting lineup. But with Mike Conley out, you can bump him up a little bit more, in my opinion. So you could take a.
He's a lock in cash games.
That
right?
Yeah, Delon Wright. Well, I mean, look, Tyler Dorsey. I wouldn't say he's a lock just yet because his price tag's up to 5.1. His usage is extremely high. He's a really good play. I don't know if he's quite a lock yet because there is other spots, and there is other guys that are going to get run. I mean, you have to look at Chandler Parsons, who came back. He had a monster game. I know that our boy Dwayne watching, he ran was one of the only guys that I know that ran Chandler Parsons. But Tyler Dorsey will get a little bit of run as well, because you got Avery Bradley, who's out for at least a week. We know Kyle Anderson's out. Jaren Jackson Jr. is still out. And Joakim Noah coming off the bench, man. You have to look at Joakim Noah. So Delon Wright, I will tell you this. He's close to a lock because he's probably their most dominant offensive player who's going to handle the ball because this team doesn't have a lot left.
I mean, he had a couple starts earlier in the year at point guard, and he had 35 and 40 fantasy points. So he has that upside there for sure.
Absolutely.
On the Magic side of things, it's the usual guys we always go after. I mean, honestly, you can really look at pretty much all their starters. Vucevic you can look at in cash games. I think that at a 10,000 price tag, he's going to give you a floor of 40 with upside of 60. You need 50 for value, so he's right there in that spot. Valanciunas isn't he's not a push around, but hey, Vucevic gets his, so he's probably my favorite play. You can look at Aaron Gordon in GPPs. Same thing with Augustine. He does have some upside. He has been showing that recently. Isaac, I'm not really on Isaac. I mean, you can look at him as a low GPP play. Same thing with Fournier, 5,600. The guy has 40 fantasy point upside. It's all about if he's going to get minutes and if he's going to take shots. I played that guy a couple times, and he's had minutes, and he just wasn't shooting. And then there's other times where he's trying to shoot 20 times a game. So he's streaky, GPP play. Looking on the bench, I mean, there's nobody that I'm really going to look at outside of Terrence Ross. So I think that's pretty much where I'm at with the Magic.
Cool.
Next game we're going with is going to be the Los Angeles Clippers going into Cleveland to face the Cavaliers. This game has a 224.5 over under, and and the Cavaliers are favored by 7 in this one.
No, the Clippers are favored by 7.
Sorry, yeah, I read it right the first time. Yeah, Clippers favored by 7.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is not exciting for me to talk about the Clippers in this game. I mean, Gallinari at 7.6 is just – it's kind of man. He's like the opposite of Klay Thompson. Like, I mean, Klay Thompson, I don't mind ever paying for Klay Thompson because I feel like Klay Thompson's floor is like 30. Gallinari, I feel like his floor is like 22.5, and he has a ceiling of maybe 40, 42. And at 7.6 in tournaments, it just doesn't get there. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to get excited about Gallinari. Landry Shamet, Zubac, Galigius Alexander, those guys just don't really do enough for me either. And then you take a look at Patrick Beverley. I mean, if this was a game against a top-tier team that had a top player that Patrick Beverley was going to harass the entire night, I would go to Patrick Beverley in tournaments because he does provide you that upside. He's a big game player is what Patrick Beverley is. So outside of their starting lineup, Harrell and Lou Williams are it, man. And that's kind of the two guys that I'll look to get exposure to myself. I'm just not really excited about this Clippers team. I mean, for me, I look at Lou Williams' price at 7.4. I look at this game against Cleveland, and I think Lou Williams could do damage on that price tag. I think that this is a game Lou Williams could definitely go off. And I'll say the same thing about Cleveland that I said the other night against Milwaukee. It's a home game from them. Cleveland, if they get hot from the three-point line, which they've done at home many times, they will keep the game competitive, and they'll have a chance to win this game just like they did against Milwaukee. So if that's going to be the case, I look at a Harrell who could dominate this spot, and I look at Lou Williams. He definitely dominate this spot as well. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, on the Cavs side of things, it's a little bit tough. I think there's a couple guys you can look at, but I mean, they're starting to get into a logjam right now. Everybody's getting healthy. You got Zizic, Nance are starting, but now Tristan Thompson is back. You got Kevin Love back. Marquise Chris is in the mix. So all the big guys are. I mean, their minutes are going to be so shared. I'm not really looking at none of the big guys. I think that takes Zizic kind of out the equation. You know, when Tristan Thompson gets completely healthy, he's going to jump back into that starting lineup. And if it happened to be tomorrow, he jumped back into that starting lineup at 4.3. He'll be somebody that I think definitely we can look at. It just if we feel he's going to get 25 minutes or so. When he was starting and playing well, he was. You can look at Colin Sexton, 6.3. I think he's a GPP play. I honestly think the two guys that I do like, from the Cavs, there's 3 guys actually you could consider. Is Brandon Knight, 4.2. The guy's playing well. I think he's gonna stick in that starting lineup for a while. 2 games in a row, 29, 26 minutes, doing a little bit of everything. The assists, he's starting to handle the ball more, getting some more assists. We know this guy can get you 10 assists pretty easy. 30 fantasy points, 20 fantasy points in the past 4,200. He's going to have a 40-point game coming soon, and I like him a lot. And then I like Osman. Osman has been playing well. I feel like his minutes are pretty secure. Outside of this game, the past game where he didn't have a good game, shooting well against the Milwaukee, he's been pretty consistent. So I think he isn't played for GPPs. But that's really it for me. I mean, I'm not really too interested in nobody outside of Knight and Osman.
Move on.
Yep. Next game we're going with is going to be the Denver Nuggets going into New York to face the Knicks. This game has a 216 over-under. Denver's favored by 11, and this game should definitely be a blowout.
Recency bias right here. This is recency bias at its finest. I don't think Jokic is a cash game play tomorrow for the simple fact that the game could blow out. The game should blow out, but Jokic is going to be extremely low owned tomorrow for 2 reasons. One is going to be because he burned people tonight with, I think, 37 fantasy points in a pretty chalky spot at a 10-1 salary. So, you can take that as number one. Number 2, the game should blow out. Could Jokic go off tomorrow? Absolutely he could. Does he deserve some tournament ownership? A little bit. He does for those reasons because you will get him very low owned tomorrow, in my opinion. Outside of that, Gary Harris at 4.8 probably has the easiest path to pay off outside of Mason Plumlee. If the game blows out, Plumlee should see extended run like he does in this spot. And at a 4.5 price tag, he's fine for tournaments. Monte Morris, another guy worth consideration in tournaments at 4.2. If the game is to blow out, he should get a little bit extra run as well. Jamal Murray, Paul Millsap, Will Barton. I'm not really on these guys in this spot. I think they're tournament plays. If you want to get limited exposure to them, I'm okay with that. This is not really a great spot for Denver, obviously. It's a back-to-back for one, and then two, they're a way better team than this.
Yeah, for sure. Man, on the Knicks side of things, I'm going to start with Moutier. I think Moutier is in play. As long as Dennis Smith is out, he's going to play, 33 to 35 minutes. Hey, man, you got to like him. Outside of the Toronto game, he's been doing well for the most part. He's getting the minutes. He has upside. GPP play maybe a little bit more just because Denver's a very good defensive team. But I like him. The other guy I like as well, Kevin Knox. He's the other guy that's really getting a bunch of minutes. They're featuring their rookie, man. They're letting them grow up right in front of their eyes. The guy's playing well, coming off a really good game. He played 46 minutes against the Jazz. But that's just showing you – I know that's just showing you how much minutes. He's getting a ton of minutes, man. He 37 minutes against the Lakers. I think this guy's going to play at least 35 minutes every single game, even if it's a blowout. So 5,000, 25 for value. And I definitely think, he has 35, 40. Outside of that, the Knicks are a mess. You got a bunch of game time decisions. We got to see what's going on with that. I really think the only two guys to look at is Moutier and Knox. Hazonia has been playing decent, but the price tag is creeping up as well. So it's just Moutier, Hazonia. It's Moutier and Knox is the only two guys that I even have interest in on the Knicks tomorrow.
Yeah, and move on, man.
Next game we're going with is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 226 and a half implied total, and Toronto's favored by 2.5 in this one.
I'm going to start with DeRozan, right? 44, 47 in his last two games. I understand this price tag is $9,000, but that just about pays off 2 games in a row in cash at this price tag. We know that James Harden is not the greatest defender in the world. James Harden should pick up DeMar DeRozan in this game. I think DeMar DeRozan can go nuts. Let's say, you take a look at the game log here, and the last time they played back in December, DeRozan goes for 53.4 against Houston. So that's a guy that I think that I can get behind. More of a tournament play, obviously at 9,000, but it is a small slate, and there's not a lot of guys in really good spots. I think DeRozan is one of those guys in a really good spot. The next guy you look at is Aldridge. And the reason that you look at these two guys is simply because of their minutes. 33 minutes in the last 5 games for DeRozan, 34 minutes.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I apologize. You skipped the OKC game.
I thought you said we were on San Antonio and Houston.
Oh, okay. It's all right. We can go back to the OKC one. No problem. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So I'm going to go with Aldridge. And what I'm saying is both these guys are playing a lot more minutes than anybody else on this team. They're playing minutes in the 30s. Everybody else is playing minutes in the 20s. So you take a look. Game log for Aldridge. He did dud against Miami in 38 minutes, but we know they have a logjam of players in Miami. We talk about it all the time, and they have a logjam with rebounders. Bam. Whiteside's playing, Olynyk's playing, James Johnson. All those guys are getting minutes, and they have a logjam of rebounders. So kind of throw that one out. You look at Houston, nothing special, but here's the thing. Clint Capella missed an extended period of time, and they didn't really have a real center, and they had kind of a different type of rotation with Kenneth Faried in. I think Aldridge is in an okay spot here. I think he's a tournament play who you could play him in tournaments. Don't go crazy with exposure, but the minutes are there, and this is a very close spread as well. So Houston takes a lot of threes. They give up a lot of long rebounds. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, 2 guys I'm looking at. Derek White, I'm not going to go there for the simple fact that Chris Paul is a good defender, man. He just is. He's a good defender. Point guards struggle against him. So I won't look at that. But the other guy that you could look at here is Rudy Gay. $6,000 for Rudy Gay. The problem I have with Rudy Gay is he's been inconsistent. If the guy's going to get minutes, you tell me Rudy Gay is going to play 27, 28, maybe 30 minutes tomorrow at $6,000 on this slate, I like it. But that's kind of where I'm at with these guys.
Yeah, man. And my bad for interrupting you earlier. I was just tripping because I was looking at Toronto, and I was
I
like,
could have swore you said San Antonio, Houston, and I skipped over OKC, Toronto. My bad.
no, yeah, no, it's good. I was just like, I was looking at Toronto, trying to figure, look at some guys, see where I was at, and then I was like, hold on. But for sure, no problem. On the Houston side of things, hey, this is a game. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think it's a game you want some exposure to. I'll look at all four starters outside of PJ Tucker. I say four starters, include Capella, Paul. Gordon's a very fair price tag at 5.2, and Harden. I mean, I think they're all definitely in play. Thing about Gordon is he's a guy who's going to play 30 minutes. He's going to shoot 15 times, and 5.2. I think he's a really good play. He's another guy that you can look at and possibly cash games with a little bit of upside. All these guys, like I said, are in play. They're all pretty good price tags. 8.2 for Paul is a good price. 8.2 for Capella. I think this is a spot that Capella could actually have a really good game. Podol, right? Did I say it?
Pirtle.
Okay, yeah, Pirtle, he's a guy he plays, but sometimes they shift to Aldridge going to center, and if Aldridge's trying to handle Capella can have a field day there. Like him in this spot. On the bench, I mean, I don't know what to do with the bench. Daniel House, a guy they've been giving minutes to. Gerald Green, gets his, 17 minutes at bare minimum price tag. But I really just think I'm gonna stick with the starters outside of Tucker.
Move on.
Next game we're going with is going to be the Miami Heat going into Milwaukee to face the Bucks. This game, we don't have an over-under yet, but Milwaukee is favored by 10 in this one.
All right, so we're going on Milwaukee. We're not going back.
Yeah, we'll go back. Yeah, we'll go back to that one. It's fine.
All right, just want to check. So, Bam is a game-time decision, and the last time I checked, he was doubtful. So that's something to watch on because it kind of loosens up the log jam. Justice Winslow, I believe, is doubtful and not expected to play. So look, where do you go after that? Derek Jones Jr., this guy's been a chalk spot industry-wide every single time, and he's kind of a hit-or-miss play. So at 3.7, if you want to plug him in, if Winslow is out, I totally get it as a drop spot play with upside because he can put points on the fantasy points on the board, just not a model of consistency in my opinion. So we say it all the time. This is a log jam. If the one spot that we've attacked the Milwaukee Bucks in the past has been with power forwards and centers with big men because they're, we've had success doing that. But in this case, you've got a log jam of players there. Whiteside coming off the bench, minutes diminished. Bam and Kelly Olynyk, their minutes are somewhat stable, but now Bam is a game time decision. If Bam is out, I really like Olynyk. I think you could definitely see a boost. Maybe he gets closer to the 31-minute mark. And that's the guy that I'll look to play. Olynyk, for a big guy, he knocks down the three. He brings more to the table than just being a big guy who's inside. So, outside of that, man, this is a tough spot to call. Miami trying to make the playoffs. Milwaukee clearly in the playoffs. And I think that you have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen with Giannis. If Giannis is out, I think this game is way more competitive, and I think it opens up some perimeter play options, mainly Dwayne Wade at 5.6. This is close to, I believe Dwayne Wade is from Marquette University, so it's kind of, close to home for him where he went to school. His last time around the block as well. So 5.6, little narrative there for Dwayne Wade, but Olynyk is the guy I'm going to keep an eye on if Bam is ruled out. Not really interested in Richardson. Winslow, let's see what happens there because that could open up some additional run for Dion Waiters. But this is a log jam of players, man. Miami's a log jam of players.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. On the Bucks side of things, there's some guys, hey, man. Bledsoe, Middleton. I don't care if Antetokounmpo plays or he doesn't play. I really like both of those guys. Once again, they're playing very well right now. Mirotic is out now, and they got Brogdon already out. Those guys are going to play 35 minutes for sure. And, Antetokounmpo, yes, takes a little bit. Obviously, they get a downgrade a little bit if he's in. But I still think both of those guys are very fair price for their roles. I mean, they're second and third best players on the team right there. And the Antetokounmpo 13,000. I don't know if I want to pay that price tag for him. It's tough for me. You need 65 just for him to hit value, and it's a guy that he's having soreness right now, right? Is that why he's been sitting out?
I mean,
Oh yeah, right ankle sprain. So yeah, I mean, he could come back, but he may not even be 100%. And we're paying like premium price. And the Heat are a pretty good defensive team as well. They got some big guys that they could throw down there at Antetokounmpo. I just can't pay that price for him. I mean, you like him at that price?
listen, let me just say this: they're not bringing him back if he's not 100%. Or
Yeah.
close to 100%. There's just no reason to at this particular point in time in their season.
Right. So you think that he's worth 65 for value?
I'll probably take Harden, dude.
Yeah, I would take the discount. Harden's playing well right now for sure. So just real quick, couple guys you can look at off the bench. Just getting some run. The three guys that you can, they're all still pretty cheap. Well, Connaughton 4.9. He's gonna play, 24, 25 minutes. So he's a GPP play. And then you can look at DJ Wilson and Silva. They'll probably get a little bit extra run now that Mirotic is out as well. But I mean, they're deep dive GPP plays. The only way that you look at them seriously is if Antetokounmpo, is ruled out. So we got to wait kind of on that news, but he is suspected back tomorrow. So, I mean, it's really just Bledsoe Middleton is really my two favorite guys from the Bucks. And I'll give Brook Lopez a little love. He's been playing very well, but the Heat just have a bunch of big guys that they're pretty good defenders. And at a 7.2 price tag, it's creeping up for me a little bit. Ready to move on?
Let me just say this, bro. If Tony Snell's going to start tomorrow, he's going to be really chalky, my opinion. And that's because he just put up 22 fantasy points in their last game with Mirotic out and all of the stuff they had. And look, there's nothing different besides Giannis being probable that wouldn't hold DJ Wilson from getting a run again tomorrow as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, I'm going to be honest. I could see them starting Ilyasova over Snell.
Nah.
You don't think so? And putting Giannis at small forward?
Tony Snell started for them before, dude. Tony Snell was a starter for them earlier in the season.
Yeah, all right, for sure. All right, we're going to backtrack real quick. Game we missed earlier. Apologies. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 226.5 over-under. Toronto is favored by 2.5. And just real quick, the one we missed earlier was San Antonio Spurs going into Houston. They have a 221 over-under in Houston.
We covered that.
No, I know, but just we didn't do the Vegas line. The Vegas line on it was 221. Houston was favored by 6 in that one. So, yeah. So, let's get to this Oklahoma City Thunder and Raptors game.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, Lowry's already been ruled out. Take a look at what happened in the previous matchup. And nobody for Oklahoma – I mean, look, the game went to overtime. I know that it was a high-scoring game. The game went to overtime. But nobody on the Oklahoma City side went nuts. Westbrook had 55, I think. Paul George had 34. So, it's not like anybody went nuts here. And let's not forget, this is one of the top defending teams in the NBA. So it's not like you can just load up on these guys and expect for the game to be another high-scoring game and Russell Westbrook's going to go for 70 and Paul George is going to go for 55 or 60. It didn't happen in the last game.
I was just saying both of these teams are really good defensive teams.
Yeah, they're both – I mean, Paul George is a really good defender, and I've said it before. The guys, at one point in time was in consideration to be – what many thought would be he'd be the defensive player of the year. So I think there's exposure to be had. Jeremy Grant had a really nice game. I think he had 28 fantasy points at a 5.2 price tag in that one. So his price tag up to 5.6 off that game. I'm okay with tournament exposure to any of the 5 starters. I'm okay with Schroeder in tournaments. But outside of that, I mean, I don't think there's any cash plays here that are just staples to build your lineups around. These are 2 good defensive teams. And like I said, Paul George put up 34 fantasy points. Russell Westbrook just shy of 60. So, it's not like any of these guys are locks and these are easy crush spot matchups. So, the game is on the road for Oklahoma City, in Toronto. I don't know, man. I'm not excited about this game, to be honest with you either. I think we're late in the year and teams are starting to slow pace down a little bit too.
Yeah. No, I think like I'm excited to watch this game, but DFS wise, I don't – it just like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right for sure. Man, on the Raptors, the one guy I actually really do like though, it's looking like Lowry's going to be out again tomorrow.
He's
Van
already been
Fleet.
ruled out.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I said. I was looking, yeah. So Van Fleet, I mean, 5.6. I mean, the price tag is keeping up, but it's still not. I think right now he should be priced about 6,500. So I think we can still take advantage of the price. He's playing a bunch of minutes. He's getting a ton of shots. He's the guy that fills up the stat sheet. So he's my favorite play on the Raptors. I mean, that's where I'm gonna start. Outside of him, I mean, Kawhi Leonard, you can look at him again. But we need 50 for him to get value. He got us 44, and he missed some easy shots too. So I think he is in play. He's a guy you can look at. Him and George, they were guarding each other for a lot of the game, and it was tough for both of them. So I mean, I think that's kind of somewhere I want to stay away from if I don't really have to go that way. Siakam 8.4, the price tag's way up, and now they got this rotation with Ibaka back and. You got a 3-man rotation: Ibaka, Siakam, and Gasol. So, I mean, I'm really going to kind of just stay away from that whole situation. Gasol, I think is too cheap though, 6.3. I think you look at him in GPPs. I think he gives you a solid floor. But with Ibaka back, it's kind of tough. Really, it's just Van Fleet. That's my favorite play on the Raptors. And that's it for me, man. Cool. Final game, we got Brooklyn going. What happened? Sorry. You got that line on that one?
Yeah, 229.5, and the Lakers are favored by 1.5.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So go ahead and jump in for us, bro.
I think this is the chalk spot. I do. I think that one, there's narrative. Two, Russell's coming off a huge comeback win against the Kings. It's right in everybody's memory banks. The Lakers are terrible against centers. So Jared Allen's in play at 6.3. Karis LeVert at 5.1. We know what the guy can do. He can fill up the stat sheet in all categories. 5.1, very, very fair price for Karis LeVert. I know he's inconsistent, but in tournaments at 5.1 for your shooting guard number 2 on FanDuel, you have to like that price going against the Lakers who just don't play any defense at all. Kirkus, Joe Harris, those guys are in play as well. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie is in play as well here. 26.2 minutes, averaging 17.8 points over his last 5 games. 5.5 is very fair. I know he comes off the bench, but I think those 6 guys are definitely in play. I think these will be more heavily owned plays on the Brooklyn side. There's going to be Laker plays as well that should be more heavily owned guys as well. I think that this is one of the best fantasy spots on the night for production just because of the fact that there will be no defense played in this game. We know Brooklyn plays hard. We know Brooklyn plays competitive. The Lakers don't have much to play for at all other than pride. I just think that Brooklyn could go out here and embarrass the Lakers, to be honest with you. I think Brooklyn's going to come in, play hard. They got a lot to play for. D'Angelo Russell, we have to mention that there's a narrative here, right? I mean, they shipped D'Angelo Russell's ass right out of town. And I'm sure he would love nothing more than to go in that building and stick it right, just light the building up. So I think that he'll garner some ownership tomorrow. I think he'll be a pretty chalky play. 30 minutes, 24 points is what he's averaging over his last 5 games and 8 assists. So really filling up the stat sheet. 8.9 price tag is under where we've seen him earlier in the season as well. So I like this Brooklyn side. I think all 6 guys are in play here.
Yeah, bro. So one thing, the way I feel about Russell, 2 things. It's either he's gonna go in there and he's just gonna absolutely torch and light and go off for like 40 like real life shooting points and go 12 for 16 for a 3-point line or something like that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Or he's gonna go in there, he's gonna end up going like 5 for 30, trying to go down like you feel me?
But let me say 2 things about that. One, you say it all the time when you have Brooklyn that he has the ultimate green light. He's like a Devin Booker, right? He has the ultimate green light. Okay, so that's one. We already know no matter what, he's going to go in there and take shots, right? Number 2, let's look at Van Vliet real quick, right? If you pop up in Van Vliet's card, you said you think he's underpriced and should be at about 6.5, right? So we're really basing that off the 3 games since he's been back. This game, the Detroit game, was his first game back. He played 31 minutes, 22 fantasy points. Nothing special over 31 minutes, right? But his last 2 games without Kyle Lowry, 36.4 and 33. So I understand what you're saying on these last 2 games. He probably warrants a 6.5 price tag, right? Well, let's take a look at Russell now. You take a look at Russell. He's over his last 5 games, he's averaging 30.4 minutes, 24.2 points per game, 8 assists, and 4.2 rebounds over his last 5, right? Is that inflated? It's inflated a touch, but look at his last 2 games, 69.8 and 52 on this West Coast trip, and his price is 8.9. It's actually down under the 9,000 mark where we've seen him for a while. So you're getting a discount on this guy too based off his last 2 games. He's not priced up, and he could be priced up on a 7-game slate coming off 50 and 69-point fantasy point outing. So I think you're getting a discount on him as well, and I think that industry-wide, I think that everybody knows where he came from.
Is that what you're saying? Put him in and move on?
It's hard to say that with him because of what you just said. Like, he could lay an egg, but we know he's going to shoot the ball 100 times.
Right. It's the play. Sometimes the play doesn't work out, right?
Yeah.
I got you. So, hey, on the Lakers side of things, man, we always like sitters going against the Nets. JaVale McGee, 5.6. Think he's a fair price tag. It's just all about minutes. Sometimes he gets them, sometimes he doesn't. It is looking like Tyson Chandler is going to be playing tomorrow. So, GPP, he is in play. He has some upside against the Nets. Kuzma, 6.3. Man,
who's in play? Tyson Chandler?
Huh?
Are you saying Tyson Chandler's in play?
No, that he's going to play.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Tyson Chandler's going to play, so he's in play.
No. McGee's in play. Gotcha. But Chandler's going to take some minutes away.
Yeah, got you. Okay.
Okay, Kyle Kuzma, 6.3. Think he's a very fair price tag going against the Nets. The thing about Kyle Kuzma, he's been lazy lately, man. I'm watching him play, and he's being lazy, and he's not, he's not getting the rebounds. Sometimes he gets, easy double-doubles, but sometimes he gets you 2-3 rebounds. And you need him to get 6 or 7 rebounds, and it's just all about when he's hustling. I've been watching him, so he's up and down with me. 6.3 is a fair price tag, though. He's definitely going to shoot the ball 15, 20 times. So he is in play. I like him, actually. 6.3. I'm going to give him some love, and I'll go back to that. Well, Rondo, 6.6. He's a solid play. I'm going to be honest. I like all 4 starters outside of Bullock. So I like McGee, Kuzma, Rondo, LeBron. 10.8. They're saying they're limited LeBron's minutes, but he's still going to play 33 minutes. At 10.8, the discounted price, it's solid. We're paying $12,000 for him to play 4 more minutes. So I think it is still a decent play playing LeBron. Bullock, he's starting to understand 3,500, but he's been getting minutes and he hasn't been doing nothing with them. So I like these other 4 outside of Bullock. Looking on the bench, I'm not really excited about nobody. Caldwell Pope, he coming off a really good game. I don't want to chase that. But if Josh Hart is ruled out, Pope is really going to be the guy that's going to come off the bench and play a bunch of minutes. 4,800 still a fair price tag, so I think you can look at him. But that's really it for me with the Lakers.
2 quick things I want to touch on real quick. Say less talking about Josh Jackson got hurt tonight. Man, I told you guys last night to play Justin Jackson, and that dude had 25.8 and went 7X. I hope you guys got some exposure to Justin Jackson. And the second thing I want to touch on is Dwayne asked us if we would circle back and talk about Batum real quick. All I can tell you, Dwayne, is from what I've seen is that the move to put Batum on the bench is that they were hoping by putting him on the bench with that second unit, he would be more aggressive and they might get more out of him. I think he went 1 for 5 shooting the basketball. So 5 shots in 24 minutes was not more aggressive. I don't know if that's a failed experiment or if now with the production of Beasley, if that's kind of just put him out. What I didn't see, though, today, I made my lines early and then I checked out. So I didn't see the confirmed starting lineup for Charlotte. And I'm not sure if Beasley started or I know they were talking about Dwayne Bacon starting as well. So
no, Bacon started today.
So Bacon did start. Yeah. So the Batum thing is odd. It is odd, but everything I had seen was there was some talk before this game by him going to the bench, and it was for purposes of hoping that Batum may get a little bit more aggressive. It's a guy they paid $120 million to, and I think that's kind of their kind of last-ditch effort to get more out of him. This has been a very bad season and a half for him since he signed that contract. It really has. He showed some signs of life kind of at the midway point of the season and had some really, really consistent games. Nothing where he went nuts, but he was showing some signs of being the old Nicholas Batum. I don't know if this is a guy. And I hope, just on a personal level, I hope this is not a guy that we see another one of these athletes that comes out that's dealing with a bout with depression or something. Something's clearly off with him as a player.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm a fan. I always talk about him, man. And I play him in GPPs. But yeah, man, it's crazy. He just like the switch just got turned off and he can't turn it back on. Like occasionally it'll flicker, but hey, it is what it is. So
Hey, one thing too, bro. Does Kuzma seem disengaged to you? That's how I look at him the last couple of games. He's just
yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like he's not being like aggressive, trying to get rebounds. He's just really standing at the 2-point line, just taking some threes and then running back. Like that's exactly what I was saying. Like he's not being aggressive.
right. He looks disengaged.
All right, man. Hey, that's it. 7 games knocked out. Hey, if you guys haven't already, man, baseball is right around the corner. Make sure and go check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Use use MLB50 promo code. Get $50 off, $150 whole season. Plus, you get the rest of NBA. Hey, it's a great deal. Hey, outside that, if we don't talk to you guys before then, good luck on your guys' contest tomorrow. All right, peace out.